Hello guys, today is yet another day to explore more on web development, and today we are going to discuss on HTML forms. And so guys, before we get started, let's save this document. So just go to the file, here in the file, and then click save, and then you can save it using any name. For my case, let me save just like that, homepage.html. Remember the keyword is .html, and then click save. So now to open that document, just click open the file explorer, the Windows logo plus E to open the file explorer, then go to downloads. I saved it on downloads, and then HTML class, then I have my file. Let me click and open it. So now it has opened a window here in that browser, but it's empty like that because we haven't written any line, any codes in that file. So guys, first of all, in this line, let's type, first of all, let's minimize this window to be in this way, so that we may have two windows open at the same time, the window for the browser and then our text editor. So guys, now in this first line, let's write HTML so that it may give us the structure of our page, and then when you click enter, it will give you the structure of our page, that structure. So basically this first tag, as we discussed earlier, defines the document type, or the HTML version you're using, this declaration, and then this HTML defines the root of the document, and then this meta defines the metadata, the character sets of the your document, and then now this line here defines the responsiveness of our page. So when you have this code written like this, your page can be displayed on any device, like a laptop, the mobile phone, or a tablet. So when you have this line, then you are good to go. So, and then this line for title, this is where you write your title. So the title is what will appear on that tab. So let me say, in the title, let me save it as we are discussing HTML forms. So let me say HTML forms, then Control S, and then refresh. So you can see here the tab section you have the HTML forms. So the next thing, we go to the body, and so to the body, let's give this page a title, like let's say give it H1 to be HTML forms. Once again, HTML forms, let me give it in caps, HTML forms. And so guys, number one, what we are going to discuss on HTML forms is the input. We are going to discuss the text input field. First of all, we are going to discuss actually 10 things, 10 types of forms. And the first one we are going to discuss on the text input field. So number one, let's give it, let's say H2, H2, and then this H2, let's give it the first one, let's give it something like let's say text input field, text input field. So when you have your file saved like that, so just click save, and then refresh here, so that we have our title and then our subtitle. So guys, so now that you have your, we have the title of the, the video, and then the number one item you're going to discuss being the text input field. So straight away, let's start coding, so that we may know more about the text input field. And basically, this perhaps let's use it to discuss that section for your first name and then the last name. So the forms, let's give it a break tag here. First of all, BR for break tag, and then now the form defines the HTML form. The form element defines the HTML. The form tags define the HTML form. So this first one is the opening tag, and then this second one is the closing tag. We discussed these things earlier, so it's not strange. So let's at least have it in split, so that it may create space for us. And then the other thing we are going to discuss is the label. Label. Just label, label, yeah, just like that. So in this first line, the label is like you give it the title, the name of what you are going to discuss. So for instance, let's say first name, and then this label is for let's say f name. The attribute is f name, and then we have completed this first line for the label. So the next line we go to the input. We go to the input element, input tag. So just write input and then click enter. So in this first in this first quotation, let's write the text. The input type is text. So then another thing that we need to have here is an ID, a unique element that will ID is like a unique attribute that is used to specify HTML document. So just write ID and then equal sign, and then open these two quotation marks, and then here you write your f name, the attribute f name, and then when you are done, then another thing you need to have is the name itself here. So the name here is f name. So let's at least give it a break tag, so that it may split to have the two lines. So BR. So then another thing is we go to the second name. So just write the label tag, and then write the L name for last name. The label, just write last name. So this label is for what? The label is for the L name. Yeah, L name. So the other thing that we need to write here actually the label, I think, is complete. Yeah, it must be complete. So the other thing, we go to the input type. Yeah, input type. So just write this the attribute for input, and then click enter. So in the type, write text again because it's a text, and then in the ID. In the ID section, just after this text, just write ID, and then equal signs, and then these two quotation mark, and then in the ID just write L name, and then the name itself is the L name, L name. So I think we are done with this. This first the input field, the text input field. So just click Control S to save, Control S to save, and then in this browser just click Control R to refresh. And guys, you can see we have the user input field. Like we have the first name, and then we have the space for the last name. You can put your name, like for my name is Nehemiah, and then Wekesa. This is my name. So we have created user input field. So and then when you are done with that, let's go to the submit button. So just click BR, maybe another BR break tag actually. So in this next line, let's write again another. Let's say H2 actually, heading 2, and then click enter. So the next thing we are going to discuss is the submit button. Submit button. So here in the submit button, I guess let's say 2. Let's say 2, and then the next, let's put a break tag BR, and then click the form, open the form element, and then in the form element, so the thing we are going to write here is just this thing. Let's copy this file, this tags, and then click Control C to copy. And so here let's paste it there. Perhaps let me try to split. So when you are done, just because submitting, it requires the backend for processing your input. So we might need a PHP to be here so that it may help us. But in the meantime, let's put another tag here for for the submit button. Before then, let's put here the BR, another BR, sorry, BR, and in the next line, let's write the input again, input. So here in the input, the first thing you write here is the submit. But here we are not going to use the name. We are going to use the value. So just write value. So the value, let's give it submit. Submit. So actually it will not respond because we haven't included any the language for backend for in the server. We haven't linked our document to the server. So actually it will active, that button will not be active. But let's save, Control S, and then in the browser so guys, you can see we have the form here, the user input with the submit button. But when you click on this submit button, you'll realize that nothing is happening. So perhaps we might need to include the language that can process the user input, and that are gonna be the PHP. So let's try, though we haven't linked to the server, but let's assume let's give it action. And so then again action, action page dot php. I don't know if the right tag, but let's save, Control S, and then in the browser Control R. So guys, when you click on it, you can see at least it has a response, but it cannot open because you haven't linked to the server, or we don't have the domain, so this is the reason why it has responded actually, but you haven't linked to the server. So let's click back. So the other thing we are going to discuss is the reset button. The reset button, we have handled the the submit button. So let's talk about the reset button. So again, let's put the BR tag here, BR, and then another BR. So in the next line, let's write the form again. Before form, let's number our work. Let's have this H1, H2, and let's say H3, H2, and then but in this title, let's say reset button. Yeah, reset button, and then in the next line, so write your the form. Everything should be inside the form if you want your form to be displayed well. So in this form section, we are going to write everything the way it is, but the only thing we shall change is we shall add is just the reset button. So actually, let's copy this these tags. Yeah, Control C to copy, and then here in the form just paste it there. So the only thing we are going to add here is the save button, the line for save. So let's put input, and then here we are going to write the reset. Yeah, the reset. But this one we are going to remove. It has only the reset. So when you click on it, now Control save. Let's save first of all, and then in this page, let's refresh, Control R. So you see we have the submit button and the reset button. And guys, so guys, because of the limited space down here, you see we have the reset button, but it's below here. So perhaps we might need to create some space down there, but don't do this. I'm just doing so that at least you may have some space. So I'm going to include though HTML, CSS actually, CSS attributes or elements, but let me just include it, but you need not to do it. So it's a div, actually it's a CSS style. So, and then in the div style, and then equal sign, yes, style, and then No, after the style, I think margin, yeah, margin, margin top, margin top, and then let me give it something like 500 pixel, and then yeah. So I think it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, sure. So let me save, and then in the browser let me refresh. Control R. It's not responding though. Perhaps, oh, let me remove this, Control S, Control R to refresh. Oh yeah, it has given us the space. I'm only the one who did not, scrolled up. So now that we have created some space here so that we may see things clearly. So in this other end, so we go to the here. I forgot to add 3. Let's number our work. Control S, and then here Control R, so that we have the reset. Yeah. So we have the reset button, but the reset is not responding. The submit is not responding. We need to add, some, the language that can process the user input. So for example, when I add my name here, my name, and then submit, I need at least to have some response, but it's not doing so because I haven't included the language for backend to process the user input. So perhaps you might need to add the action, and then action page dot php. We shall discuss this thing more when we shall be tackling the PHP. So Control S, then here Control R. So let's write this name, and then so when you click on reset, you see your data is deleted. Let's write again. When you click submit, at least it has responded, but because you haven't linked to the server, the responder is like this. So let's go to the third thing. So perhaps let's talk about the passwords. And let's put our BR here, BR. So let's write H2, and then here let's write number 4. We are number 4. We are handling the password field. So just write password in the content segment. Password, is it like that? Password here, password button. Yeah, actually password field. Yeah, password field. And then another thing we're gonna do is to add the tag for form, just form, and then click enter, and split it at least to create some space there. And then in the password form, we shall begin with the label button. So guys, the first line we shall write the label attribute, the element. So just write the opening angle bracket for less than, and then write the label, and then in the label, in the contents part, just write password, because we are handling the password. But before password, let's include at least the username, because most forms have the username before passwords. So after you've written that, then in the label is label 4, just write 4, and then the username. 4 is for username. Just write username. When you are done in the next line now, you just write the input element. So in the next line, just write the input element, but before then, let's include at least the br here. Yeah, at least I know the br. Should we include the br here? I think it's not a must actually. Let's leave it at. So in the next line, we shall write now the input. So in the input, the first thing we write is a text, because the input should be a text. Actually, it has given us that option. So after the input, we go to the ID, the unique attribute that will define the username. So I write ID, and then equal sign, and then put these two quotation marks, double quotation mark, and then in between just write username. And then in the name part, just give it something like let's give it username. In the name here, let's give it username again. Username. So I think we are done. So we go to the password now, the password lines. So we shall include, we shall begin in the label, just label, and then click enter. So here we write the passwords. Password. So is a label for what? Don't forget to include label for. So this is a label for password. Yeah, actually password. I hate typing, but with the time I shall be a pro. With time I shall be a pro. So I've written the password. So the next thing we might need to add here, perhaps not in the label. So in the next line for input, let's include in this line type. The type of is a password actually. Password. When you have finished writing the password, then write the ID. ID is a unique attribute that it defines. This is a password. So include ID. So in the ID, just write pwd for password, and then in the name again write pwd for password. So I think what I forgot to add here is the same. It's not the full password like this. Just write pwd because is what we have used below here. So when you are done, just click what? Control S to save, and then here Control. Before then, let's at least include the BR here, at least to split. And so when you're done, just click Control S to save, and then in the browser Control R to refresh. And so guys, in this first line, in the part of the username, you write your name. Remember, I added the text. So here you write your username. For my case, let me use Wekesa. I'm Wekesa. I'm Aluya, actually Aluya. So in the password, it is in the password section, it actually displays the something like bullets, rounded things. So when I write my things, you see you have the something like dots, the bullets, but it can also be used like you can also use the stars, but all in all is a password. So you see you have the password. It hides your letters. So this is the password, but at least we might want to include the submit and the reset, like what we have done here up there. So to add the to add the submit and reset button, let's do it like this. Add the input and then include the type. Type is a submit actually, and then here we have the value, not name. Here is a value. And then in between here you write the submit button itself. So so in the next line, let's write the reset button. Just input, and then here you write the reset. Then you remove this name. Just remove it. So I think now we have the reset. So let's refresh, and then perhaps what I forgot is to add the PHP line here, .php, so at least it may be functional, but we shall tackle PHP later. So when you are done, just click Ctrl S, and then in the browser Ctrl R to refresh. So guys, you see we have the submit, but at least let me try to add some break tag, br here, and then Ctrl S, and then Ctrl R. So I see, guys, you can see we have the reset in the submitting button. So in the username, for example, let me put my URL username, registration number. Then in the password section, at least let me try to put some things here like this, and then when I click reset, it will clear the data, and then when I write again, and then click submit, at least it will show some response, though it's not what it should be because we haven't linked to the server. So basically this is the password field. So the other thing we are going to handle, basically let's focus on the radio, the input type, the radio. Actually, the radio is not a radio station actually, but is the radio for, it lets the user at least select one thing among the limited number. Like for example, you have been given different types of food, but you are only you are required to select only one type of food. So this is where now you have the radio button, the input type radio. So perhaps in the next line, at least let's put the BR here as always, so that we may have some space. So in the next line, let's write the form, yeah. So between the form, so we are going to begin first of all with the input. We want to begin today with the input. So just clicking the angle bracket for less than, and then input. So this time we are using radio. We are using radio in the input type, and then the ID. Let me say. But guys, before that I forgot to add this. I had forgot that we are numbering our work, so perhaps I might get back here and then write the H2 for the heading. So we are discussing the radio button. So this is number 5, and then radio button. So at least when you have the title, the subtitle there. So guys, after you've written the input and then the type is radio, so perhaps you might need to add the ID. The ID, remember I told you, defines the attribute, the unique attribute for the element you are going to use. So perhaps the the attribute here for ID is gonna be, let me say, food, like pizza. But before then, at least let me try to add some paragraph here to describe, at least to have some question. Let me say P1, let's say P, and then write which of the following a type of food do you like most? At least it may be at least something presentable, unique. So in the name section, in the next section, let's say the favorite food, where in the name here, let me say, let us say favorite food. And then we might include the value. The value is pizza. Value is pizza. So when we are done, and then in the next line we write our label. The label, yeah, the label. So the label is actually pizza. And then here in the label is a label for what? Label for this is a label actually for pizza. Yeah, it's a label for pizza. So just write pizza, and then I guess we are done. Yeah, perhaps. Sure, we are done. So perhaps let me copy these lines so that we may not repeat. I told you that I hate typing. Sorry. Let me copy this file and then Control C and then paste. I told you I hate typing, so let me just use the shortcut Control. So let's have at least 3 options here. So the first option we used pizza, and then the next line, let me use chicken. You know, I'm a lawyer, I like chicken so much. Chicken. And then here let's change to be chicken. Where else do we need to change? Here the label. Chicken. Oh, hey. Here in coding, what you need to do is to be consistent, especially in this form. Chicken. Is it like that? Yeah, chicken. So in coding, you need to be consistent. Like for if you have used the small letter, you need to use the small letter here in all these tags. Here also small letter, but for chicken, the element itself, even if you put the small or what, it has no effect. So in the next line, perhaps let me say the macarons. Someone like macarons. What kind of food do you like? This guy like macarons. And so guys, I've realized that we have an error here in the macaron section. Let's delete and make it small. For me, I like if I've used the small letters, I always use small letters, not to interchange things. Also here, let me use macaron for small letters. Actually, another thing where we need to change is here. Let's say macarons. macarons. And then in the pizza section, let's change at least to be macarons. Here, when you, even if you use the first one to be first letter to be capital, no effect, because it's the content macarons. So in what place we have an error. So I think it's okay. So Control S. Do you recall? Control S to save. And then here Control R to refresh. So here you have 3 options. Which of the following type of food do you like most? You are limited. You can only choose one, either macarons or chicken or pizza. Perhaps let me try to put some break tags here so that it may be in that form, and it may not be horizontal like that. Here also the BR. This one. So Control S to save, then here Control R to refresh. So guys, we have our radio button. So this radio button allows you only to choose one among the limited number of options. So we have another one is a checkbox. You can check all or 0, but with the radio button you are limited. You can only either choose one. You can only choose either of them. So this is now the radio button. So the next thing, let's talk about the checkbox. The checkbox is like the radio button, but the checkbox allows you to select even 2 of them or all, or you can decide not to select. That's the checkbox. So let's put the break tag here, BR, then another BR. So let's put the H2. H2, then say number 6 of what we are going to discuss about forms is the checkbox button. Checkbox button. Checkbox button. So the next thing we're gonna write here is the the form itself. Don't forget to begin the form. Form. So in the form, let's split at least to have some space here. In the form now, in this part of checkbox, we begin with the input, like in the radio button, because you cannot begin with the label to be in this other end. We begin with the the input first, and then the label it follows. So we begin with the input. So in the input, let's ask a question like in this other place. We write a question that which of the following do you like? So let me say let's say, what's your hobby? Choose your hobby. Let's include a paragraph, before paragraph. Then let me say, choose your hobby below. Choose your hobbies. Perhaps let me say hobby stroke hobbies, because it can allow you to choose all of them. Hobbies. Choose your hobby or hobbies. In the check. And so guys, you see we have the question here that choose your hobby stroke hobbies in the field below. In the boxes below, or what? Let me say in the checkbox, in the check boxes below. Check below. Choose appropriate. not a must actually. So so now we have the input. So we said that just like in the radio section, in the radio button, here we have the input that begin first, and then the label goes on the other end. So here we begin with the the input, and the input itself is a input type is a checkbox, actually checkbox. Is it checkbox? Yeah, just checkbox. Yeah. So ID gonna be what? I'm trying to think of something. Oh, let's say we decided the ID. So let me say ID equals sign, and then these two quotation mark, hobbies. Let me, this is not a checkbox. Here let me say hobbies. No, hobbies or hobby, I don't know, but we are just using the examples, not actually to be legit. Not a must to be legit. It has some chemicals. So in the after you've written the ID, so the next thing you're gonna do is to add the name. The name again is hobbies, because we have decided to use hobbies. And then another thing to add here is the value. Is it the value? Sure. Let's use the value, and then the value. My first my hobby is I like coding, so my hobby is coding, especially coding with Python. So when you're done, the next thing you're gonna do is to include the label. Is it label? I don't know. The label. What's the correct pronunciation of that word? Let me see in the comment section. But for me, let me say label. And then after you've written the label, so perhaps let me say I love swimming. I love coding, actually coding. Swimming it's gonna be the other hobby. So I love coding. So in this label, let me say 4. Not really. It is 4, not form. The label is actually hobbies, because we decided to use hobbies. So hobby 1. Let me say hobby 1. Then here also let me change it to be hobby 1. Yeah. And then here let me also change it to be hobby 1. Yeah, because we shall have a different type of hobbies. And then copy this. The lazy guys, not really the lazy guys, but the savers of time. The savers of time will use copy pasting. So in the next checkbox, let's say hobby 2 everywhere, hobby 2, actually hobby 2, and then here also hobby 2. So after you've written the hobby 2, where else should we change? So we have the hobby 2 I love, but it's not coding, is actually I said swimming. Yeah, I know how to swim. So we have completed the next checkbox. So then let's go to the other one. Let's change to be 3, hobby 3, hobby 3, and then hobby 3 here. So another thing I like most is hiking. I like hiking. So yeah. So value is oh wait, what I forgot to change is the value. So the value here is swimming. But the value here is hiking. Hiking. So when you are done, just click. Before then, let's put the break tag, at least BR break tag. I like to make your work at least organized. So Control S to save, and then here Control R to refresh. So guys, you can see we have the checkbox button, and then with it, you can decide either to choose. The question here says choose your hobby, hobbies in the checkboxes. So which means you are not limited to choose. You can decide to choose all, or leave all, or choose one or two, or both. So you can choose or uncheck. So you can see it gives you the option to select all of them. So this is now the checkboxes. You see how they differ with the radio button. You see the radio button only allows you to choose one, but with the checkboxes you can decide to uncheck all, or to check all, or to choose either of them. So this is now all about checkboxes. So the next thing we're gonna handle is perhaps the HTML alert button. The alert button. Sometimes you might want to add an alert button on your page. So let's put the break tag as usual here. BR. So let's write the form. Click enter. So here in the form, let's split, and then in the form is actually a single line. Is a single line for input. It doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be with the label. But the input alone works with an alert button. But before then, as I'm a person who forgets a lot to add the numbers. So P for paragraph, and then let's say not really P for paragraph. We are using what H2 the heading. So H2, let me say 7. We are number 7. So number 7, let me say the alert, let me say HTML alert button, so that when someone clicks on it, it alerts, it alerts him, or it gives him some instant information. So it has I said that it only has the input line actually. So in the type is actually a button. The input type is a button, so just write button, and then after it you just go on here you write on click, and also just write the on click here, on click, and then here you shall write the alert. alert. So alert, and then let's put the brackets, just the normal brackets. Here, let me the alert type. So let me say you are a hero, or I'm a hero. I'm a legend. Let me say I'm a legend. Actually, let me say I'm a legend. I'm a legend. So but we need to have the the single tags here inside, the single quotation mark here, and also here. No. Legend. I'm a legend. So yeah, is it okay? I'm a legend. So I guess it's okay. It's okay. So the name perhaps let's give it does it have to have a name? Not really. But perhaps let's include the value, and then let's say click me, that button to be click me to see wonders. Let me say click me to see wonders, So are we done? Let's Control S to save. Then on this other end, Control R to refresh. So we have the alert tab, alert button. So when you click here, you see you have the that I'm a legend. You see that I'm a legend, an alert button actually. So this is all about alert button. So another thing perhaps we're gonna handle in the forms is the input type for date, the date field. So you might want to have the that option for users to have to fill their date, the date, perhaps the year of birth and so forth. So before then, let's put the BR as usual. BR break tag is a self-closing tag actually, the remnant of XHTML. So after you've written the BR, this time I've not forgotten to add the numbers. So H2 for heading, and then let me say number 8. Number 8 is the date field. Let me say just date field to give it, so that it may give you the option to fill your the date of birth, date of what, and so forth. So when we are done with that, let's write the form. Everything should be inside the form. So the form we shall actually include the PHP, but before then let's fill the label. It has the label and the input. So we begin with the label. Label is here. So the label is actually for birthday. Let me use an example of birthday. So let me write birthday, but you can just write anything. So label, let me say for birthday. I guess I'm done with the label. So the other thing I'm gonna type here is the input type. Input. And so guys, here in the input type is actually is a date of birth. birthday. We are handling birthday, so we write date. Date. Is it that date? Not a 18. I'm not talking about the 18. Date, the date of birth. So ID. ID equal sign, then these two quotation mark, and then we are handling what? Birthday. Yeah, that's given that option. So after birthday, so the name again is birthday. So I guess I'm done with the that line for input element actually. So the next thing we're gonna add is actually we have the submit button. So let me say input again for submit button. So in the input type is submit, and then here we have the value, not name, value. Value, and then just write submit, yeah. And then perhaps let's include the reset. Do you recall how to write the code for reset? Just input, and then just write a reset. It has no it's not complicated. Just write like that, and then delete this option. These are the names, and then perhaps we might include here a PHP line, form, and then action, and then action page, then dot PHP, and then perhaps what we're gonna do is to add the break tag here, just BR, and then BR, and then save, and then here in the page just click Control R to refresh. So guys, you see we have the date field. So when you click on it, it gives you the option to choose the date. You choose any. So like it has given me 10th. Maybe yeah. Here we have the date. So you can decide either to reset or to submit. You cannot submit the So this is now all about date. So maybe yeah, this is it. You can choose you can change, for example, I was born on it's not a must, provided you have got the the context. So that's number 8. So number 9 we're gonna handle is the type color. You might want the user to choose color. So let's include the the BR actually, BR. So BR, and then this time I've not forgotten to add number 9. No, not really number 9. Before then you have the H2, and then add number 9 dot. We are handling the color field, color what, let me say color field actually. Not a must to be accurate. Color field, color picker. Let me say color picker. Then go to just type form, and then split, and then write the label for color. So perhaps the label the label is that label. So when you're done the tag for label, So in the content section, just write choose your favorite color. Choose your favorite color. Choose your favorite color. Is it so? Sure. And then at least add some quotation. They are not quotation. They are the colon actual colon, and then here for label for what? Label for favorite color. So color. So when you are done with the label, the next line you now write the input for that label. So perhaps the input type is color, and then when you are done with the color, then you go to the ID here. ID is and then these two quotation mark. So ID is as again the favorite color, yeah, just like that. And then the name again is just favorite color. Name, yeah, favorite color. So you might also want to include some values here. So value I include the color to be default, for red is F0000, but let me use black is just 000000. So when you are done with that, as usual, let's try at least to include the reset and the what the submit button. So Control C for us lazy guys, copy, Control C and then Control V to to include those buttons. And then here in the form, let's write our PHP align. So .php so that it may process this input. So Control S. Before then, as usual, let me put the break tag BR, BR again, and then Control S, and then here on this browser, let me Control R. So guys, you see you have our color picker. So you can decide either it gives you those options to choose the color, to select the color. So you see you can choose either of them. So for white it is this place. So for red, you can choose your color. So to reset, you just click and it gives you black. Remember, I set the default to be black, and this is the value for black. But if red, if you want to default to be red, it's just FF, and then Control S, and here Control R. Sorry, and this Control R. Wow, what's not happening? I don't know. I think I've forgotten the value for red. I thought it's FF00, but it's okay still. But what you need to know is that you can choose your color here. So you can choose your favorite color. So in your page, you might also want you might have some questionnaire in your page, and you might want the users to choose the favorite color for them. So this color picker is very, very essential for them. And then the next thing, the last thing perhaps we're gonna handle today is the input email. The input email is mostly so the next thing, before then, let's put the br, another br, yeah. And so let's write number 10, the last one, number 10. So h2, yeah. And then let me write number 10 to be email input. So let's say field, email field, or let me say email, email input field. Yeah, email input field. So when you are done with that, then the next line just write form. So for our final form, remember we have more than 20 types of forms. We have the text area. We haven't discussed all of them, but what I've discussed here is what is mostly used. Before, let's first of all finish these things. So the email, the forms. So the first, we begin with the label. Label. Click enter, and then split, and then not a must to split. Sorry. So in that label, so perhaps we are tackling emails. So let me say enter your email below, your email in the field below. Yeah, enter your email in the field below. So this is the label for email, actually, for email. So email, yeah, just email. And then so the input for that email is let's write the input. So input, so the input, actually, let's the input type is email. Then the ID, the unique attribute for your email is just email. Yeah, just email. Just write email. And then the name, email again. So when you are done, you might have, you might want the this tag again, the reset and the submit button. So they are the same all over. So just put them there, and then click here on the form, and then write your PHP tag. So PHP. So click save, and then here click Control R. But I forgot at least to add some break tags here. So BR, then Control S, then Control R. So we have the email, the place for email. So you can decide either to choose. Also, perhaps when you write your things, then click submit. It gives you an error that the email address is missing at, the at. So it must accept only the lines that has this at up. So perhaps you might also want to have the default value. Let me say here email, the value, add some value. Let's say value, and then say email. Enter your email. and you are and so guys, let's put the enter your email here, enter your email here, to have some value in that table, so that someone can delete. Control S, then here Control R. So we have some default text here. So perhaps someone has someone has written like let's say something like this at gmail.com. So when they reset, it will give that option. It tells them that enter your email here, and then you see when you hover there your cursor, it tells you that please include an at in the email address. Enter your email here is missing at. So guys, this is all about forms. We have many other forms that we've left out, like the text area. There are so many, but for now I don't want to exhaust you with the very much things, but at least the text field. Number one, we discussed the text input field, and then we talked about the submit button, we talked about the reset button, the password field, we have the radio button, checkbox button, we have the alert button, we have the date field, the color picker, and then the email. So guys, have time to review these things. Where you haven't understood, just ask me in the comment section. I'll help you. And so guys, I'm very much happy that you've watched to the end, and I keep it here. Perhaps I'm going to discuss the last thing on HTML, that is to insert a video, an audio, and perhaps header and footer. When I'm done with this thing, I promise we shall go straight away to CSS, so that we may explore more. And then when we finish CSS, we shall go to JavaScript, and then and so forth. So by now, guys, I want to thank you so much for your patience. And guys, to support me, just click the subscribe button and then like this video, and I'll appreciate so much, guys. You will motivate me to add more content. So guys, I'm very much happy by now. So see you in the next video. Thank you so much.